if you're one of the millions of people who feels, permanently tethered to your device, you know the feeling. That struggle to focus on anything that takes more than, say, 90 seconds. That little buzz in your pocket that you just have to check.
It's this constant low-level hum of distraction, and it leaves you feeling drained, fragmented even.
And just completely incapable of tackling the really important long-term work.
It is, I think, the defining struggle of the modern mind. We are living under these, invisible chains of instant gratification.
And it feels like they're shackling our ability for deep thought, for real achievement.
Absolutely. So today we're doing a deep dive into the strategies from Thibaut Meurisse's book, Dopamine Detox.
Which is really a pretty rigorous guide to resetting your brain's entire reward system.
It is. And our mission here is to just extract the key insights, the actionable stuff you need to break free from this cycle.
Right. To unlock a more focused, more productive, and honestly, a more fulfilling life.
But to get to the fix, we really have to start with this core scientific misunderstanding that really sets the trap.
Okay, let's start there.
So this misunderstanding is, well, it's everywhere. When most people talk about dopamine, they call it the pleasure chemical.
Right. That's what I've always heard. It's the reward itself.
And they think it's the reward, but the research shows that's only half the story. And maybe even the less important half.
Okay, so unpack that for us. If it's not pleasure, what is the real evolutionary role of dopamine?
Fundamentally, dopamine is the molecule of motivation.
Motivation. Okay.
It's a key neurotransmitter that evolved for one reason: survival. It drives us to see rewards.
Things like food, water, relationship.
Exactly. The things we need to exist and, reproduce, it motivates the action you need to take to get those things. It's the drive.
So if I'm getting this right, the feeling of pleasure, the reward itself, that might come from other chemicals like endorphins or something?
Precisely.
Dopamine is just a little salesperson in your brain yelling, go get it, you want this.
That is the exact distinction Meurisse makes. Dopamine signals the anticipation of a reward. It fuels the hunt.
The hunt. I like that.
Yeah, and the book puts it perfectly. It says, dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. It is a neurotransmitter that is activated when you anticipate a potential pleasure.
That is such a critical point.
It is, because it explains why so many people feel empty or, unfulfilled right after they get that easy reward. The high was in the chase.
That completely captures the feeling of closing a social media app after just an hour of scrolling.
Right.
You feel that little pull, that sense of discovery while you're in it, but the second you stop, it's just hollow.
Yeah.
What did I just do?
Exactly. And that's why it's called the molecule of more. It's not designed to make you satisfied. It's designed to make you crave.
And in our world, that whole natural process has just been completely hijacked.
Totally. Instead of tracking an animal for days for a small reward, we get these massive instant dopamine hits from a screen pinging.
Or a video game achievement, or some sugary processed food that takes zero effort to get.
And if you're conditioning your brain to expect these huge, rapid hits of stimulation all the time,
then of course, when you face a real task, like writing a report or learning a new skill, your brain just rebels.
It does. It says, why would I work hard for a delayed reward when my phone offers fireworks right now?
So dissatisfaction is literally built into the system we've created for ourselves.
Yes. This constant chase for effortless stimulation just destroys your ability to concentrate on anything that requires real effort. It lowers your bar for what's boring.
So before we get to the solution, this is a good moment for you, the listener, to just reflect. Ask yourself, what are your main sources of this stuff?
And do they actually leave you happier or just more distracted?
That self-reflection is step one.
So now let's connect that science to what actually happens in our work lives. The direct result of this overstimulation trap is a massive hit to your focus.
It makes any necessary, challenging task feel just impossible. So tedious.
And procrastination becomes your go-to response.
Because your brain is just calibrated for these quick, massive rewards.
And this isn't an accident. We have to remember we're in an attention economy. This is intentional design.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Marketers, social media developers, they are experts at pulling these dopamine levers.
They design the notifications, the algorithms, everything to create this endless loop of anticipation, likes, comments, news. It keeps you hooked.
And the stakes here are, they're huge. The ability to think long-term is essential for any kind of meaningful success.
But these distractions, they just relentlessly force us into a short-term reactive mindset.
We're always responding instead of strategically thinking.
It is a battle for your brain space. And Meurisse does a great job of laying out these 4 internal mind tricks that we use to justify it all.
Okay, let's get into those, because recognizing them feels like half the battle.
It is. So the first trick is returning to work is easy.
Yes, the classic, I'll just check this one thing and I'll be right back in the flow.
But the science on context switching just proves that's a lie. Every time you check that one thing, you pay a switching cost.
Your brain isn't just instantly back at 100%.
Not even close. It takes real time and energy to get back into that deep focus. That so-called quick check just costs you at least 10 or 15 minutes of real productivity.
Okay, so what's the second trick?
The second one is even more familiar. You can do it later.
Right. Procrastination. You're just letting it become a habit.
You're conditioning yourself to associate hard work with future you, not now you.
Okay, trick number 3.
This one requires some real honesty. Confusing excitement versus fulfillment.
Oh, that's a good one.
We chase these exciting, stimulating things like getting into a dumb argument online or binge watching a show.
And we mistake that little rush for actual happiness,
Yeah.
for progress.
Exactly. Excitement is high dopamine, high energy. It's fleeting. Fulfillment, that comes from sustained effort. The book says it simply, excitement isn't fulfillment.
And fulfillment is built on discipline, not cheap thrills.
And the last one, number 4, is the one that gets all of us, especially in our careers. Fear of missing out. FOMO.
Oh. The belief that you have to respond to every single ping right now or some huge opportunity will just vanish forever.
It's a powerful illusion.
And we've all been there. You block out 2 hours for deep work, you're focused, and then the phone buzzes.
Just a little ping from a colleague or a news alert.
And that ping is an instant reward. The possibility of new information, it just pulls you right out.
And it reinforces that whole craving cycle for more pings. And those little acts, they add up to a life that's just defined by distraction.
So if the problem is this constant overstimulation,
Which it is.
then the solution must be, I guess, to just reduce it.
That's the core of it, yeah. The goal of a detox is just to reduce the overall noise level so your brain can get back to a natural baseline state.
So that the stuff that used to feel boring or hard starts to seem more appealing again.
Exactly. The detox is just a temporary measure to kickstart that reset, but it's not, a one-size-fits-all thing.
So the book outlines 3 different types.
Right, and it's important to find the right level for you.
Let's start with the big one. The 48-hour complete detox.
This is the full reset button.
So for 2 full days, you're eliminating almost everything. No internet, no social media, no video games, no sugar, no processed foods.
And no drugs or alcohol, obviously.
Now, I have to ask, that seems incredibly extreme. I mean, for the average person with a family or work, is that even practical?
That's a fair challenge, and the author is clear. This is a temporary reset, not a new lifestyle.
So it's supposed to be intense.
It has to be, to shock the system and really lower that dopamine baseline. And what you do during that time is key.
Right. The suggested activities are all low stimulation, like contemplative walks, journaling with a pen and paper, meditation, stretching.
Simple things. The whole point is to just experience boredom and realize it's okay. To remind your brain that stillness is productive.
Okay, so after the 48-hour one, there's the 24-hour detox.
Yeah, which is shorter, but the book warns it might not be enough. It often takes more than a day for your body to really adjust.
And then the one that's probably the most sustainable for most people, the partial detox.
This is where you just pick one big distraction, like you decide no YouTube for 30 days, or you cut out all news sites.
That seems much more manageable. You can still function, but you're targeting your biggest problem area.
So once you've picked your detox, you have to actually implement it. And there's a 3-step method for that.
It's all about designing your environment, right?
Exactly. Step 1 is identify your biggest distractions.
And not just in your head. You have to physically write it down.
A visible list, 2 columns. Cans, the good, low stimulation things you'll do, and cans, the high stimulation things you must avoid.
Okay, so you have your list. What's step 2?
Step 2 is probably the most powerful part. Add friction.
I love this idea. The quote is, to make unwanted behaviors harder to engage in by adding friction.
You're just creating physical barriers. If your phone is in another room, that small bit of effort is often enough to break the immediate craving loop.
We always hear about reducing friction for good habits.
But adding it for bad ones is just as important. Turn off all your notifications. Log out of social media. Put your phone in a drawer. Make it inconvenient.
And on the flip side, You reduce friction for the good stuff.
Right. Keep your book on your nightstand, put your walking shoes right by the door, make the good choice the easy choice.
And the final step, step 3, seems almost too simple. Start first thing in the morning.
It's deceptively simple, but what you do in those first 30 minutes, it matters far more than you think. It sets the neurological tone for the whole day.
So if you wake up and the very first thing you do is grab your phone,
You've already lost. You're flooding your brain with dopamine chasing before it's even fully awake. You're opening all these open systems of constant information.
so the key is to have a calming, low stimulation routine, ready to go, meditate, stretch, journal, anything but the phone.
That first hour is sacred.
Okay, so surviving a weekend detox is one thing, but the real goal is to make this last.
Right. The whole point is to enhance your motivation for the important, high-impact tasks in the long run.
And that starts with daily planning.
Yes. And specifically, using pen and paper to write down, say, 3 to 5 key tasks for the day. That act of writing it down makes it real.
And to find the most critical task, you have to ask that question. If I could complete only one task today, which one would have the greatest long-term impact?
And that's your number one priority. You do that first.
So productivity really boils down to 3 words: focus, consistency, and impact.
And to get that focus, you need systems management. You have to actively avoid what the book calls open systems.
Social media, email, news feeds, anything that provides an endless stream of new stuff.
And instead you prioritize closed systems, a Word document, a spreadsheet, an offline piece of software, places where distractions are limited by design.
And then you work in sprints, like 45 minutes of intense, uninterrupted focus.
That 45-minute mark is key. It respects the brain's natural limits for deep concentration before it starts to fade.
Now we have to talk about relapse, because it's going to happen.
It's inevitable. And just knowing you have a problem isn't enough to change the behavior. You have to understand your emotional triggers.
This is where self-awareness comes in. Recognizing that feeling, that moment, your hand just automatically reaches for your phone.
And when you do slip up, because you will, the key is not to dwell on guilt or shame.
Right, the book says to just pause, acknowledge it, and recommit one day at a time.
Because guilt is just another high-stimulation emotion that can actually trigger more of the behavior you're trying to avoid.
So what's a more practical tool?
Contingency planning. Anticipate the moments you're most vulnerable.
Like that late afternoon energy slump or right before bed?
Exactly. And you visualize a better response. You decide ahead of time. When I'm waiting for the coffee to brew, instead of checking Twitter, I will look out the window.
You're creating a new automatic response.
And finally, to really sustain this, you need to actively cultivate the here and now neurotransmitters.
So things like endorphins, oxytocin, serotonin.
The chemicals of connection and fulfillment. They're the antidote to the restless chase for dopamine.
And you get those from simple things. Spending time outside, mindfulness, real conversations with people, face-to-face.
They ground you in the present. They prove that you can feel good, feel fulfilled without chasing that next big hit of anticipation. Your focus is a valuable asset. It is worth a lot of money to you.
So, to wrap this all up, the ultimate takeaway from our deep dive is this. Dopamine drives the hunt. It's the servant of anticipation. It never, ever delivers lasting satisfaction.
True fulfillment, the deep stuff, it only comes from discipline, from sustained focus on your most important goals.
And to really solidify this, the final actionable challenge is to try a 30-day challenge.
Just focus on maintaining those simple daily routines you built during the detox, especially keeping that first hour of the morning quiet and low stim.
I want you to think about the incredible power of minimizing small daily decisions.
Mm-hmm.
When you just remove the choice of whether to check your phone first thing, you save all that mental energy for the tasks that actually move you toward your long-term vision.
So we invite you to start right now. Get a piece of paper, write down your personal non-negotiable can'ts list, and just begin the process of reclaiming your own attention.